Hi, this video tutorial will step you through how to use GarageBand, read naturally, and save everything up to your Files One server. So the first thing we're going to do is go up to the menu bar and find the word Go and give that a click. And then from Go you move all the way down to the bottom and you click on Connect to Server. So let's go ahead and do that. This dialog box pops up and you make sure it says AFP files1.4j.lane.edu. Give that a click, connect. Here you're going to take your mouse and you're going to hold your mouse button down and swipe so it highlights that in blue, and then you're going to type in your 4J username and password. So I'm going to type in a student's username and password, and then I'm going to click connect. So now you can see I have my correct file. I'm going to click OK, and here is this folder. So I'm looking for Read Naturally. I'm going to give that a double click, and sure enough, here are some GarageBand files that this student has worked on earlier. Okay, so now we have our Read Naturally folder open, and we need to open up a couple of more programs. The first thing I'm going to do is get this out of my way by minimizing. So I'm going to click on this yellow middle fellow, get that out of the way, and I'm going to fire up Read Naturally first and let that jump and get started. I'm going to type in my password and click enter, and it's loading the story that I'm going to be reading. So once I have Read Naturally up and running, I want to move it over to the side here, and then I'm going to start up GarageBand, which takes kind of a little while because GarageBand is a huge file. So we're just going to watch it initialize and be patient. Okay, so this opened up somebody else's folder. So I've got to go up here to File, and I want to create New. And I'm going to create a new music project, and I'm just going to type capital OCTOPUS, which is the name of my story, but I don't want to save it here in GarageBand. I want to go down here and see where my server file is. I'm going to give that a click and see how that changes, and I'm going to give a click into Read Naturally, and so now my Octopus file is going to go into H Early 21's Read Naturally folder. So I'm going to give that a click and create. And I kind of have to be patient while it is saving. Okay, since this is a brand new file, what we need to do is get rid of our keyboard. So I'm going to hover over here and click that red button there. And I need to go up here to Control and turn off the metronome. Otherwise, you're going to hear this irritating little sound in the background, which when you're playing music keeps time, but when you're just doing a cold reading, you don't need to hear that in your headphone. So if you give that a click and then go back and check on Control, you can see that metronome is now turned off. We want to add a new track, so I'm going to go to Track and go down here to New. And I want to add a real instrument track, and I'm going to click Create. Now, as you can see, when the track comes up, it has no effects. Well, we need to change that to vocals. So if you'll move your mouse all the way over here to where it says Vocals for voice, VOCALS, let's give that a click. If you're a boy, you're going to choose Male Basic. If you're a girl, you're going to choose Female Basic. And since I'm a female, that's what I'm going to choose for my recording. All right, now we are ready to begin with our Octopus recording. But I need to be able to see the Read Naturally screen, so I'm going to go up here to this bar so that I can move my Octopus over, and I want to move it over till just I can see these toolbars down here, because I need my record button, and I need my start stop button, and I need my rewind button. So now I'm going to move my Read Naturally over just a little bit so I can read there. So I'm going to move this over a little bit so you can see I can still see my play button and my start, that's my start stop play button, my rewind button, and my recording button. So I've got this, and I am ready to do my first cold timing reading. So I'm going to make sure I know where to start. You may have heard. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to click on GarageBand and see how that kind of brightens up. That means I've selected it to start, making sure that my female basic is all lit up. And now I'm going to click that red round button for record. I'm going to click record, get it going, and start to read. You may have heard stories about the way an octopus likes to wrap its arms around divers and kill them. Those stories are exciting, but not true. Now then, you need to go ahead and finish reading your entire story and do that cold timing the first time all the way through. Once you've done it and finished recording, you're going to click that blue triangle to stop your recording. And here, I'm going to pull this back over so you can see where I pretended to do my recording. So now I can click the rewind button, and I can listen to myself by hitting the play button. So you can listen to yourself if you'd like to. And once you've finished listening to yourself, make sure that you pull that playhead all the way to the end of your recording and just about there, because once you finish with GarageBand the first time, you're gonna, read naturally the first time, then you're gonna want to do a second cold timing. All right, so let's just make sure that we step through the whole procedure so we know what to do. So at this point, we have made our first cold timing recording. So after that, you go through all the steps of Read Naturally: read along, practice, quiz, retell, ready to pass. After ready to pass, that's when you're going to come back to Read Naturally. You're going to go ahead and open up your server file and double click on Octopus, and then you're going to set it up for a second recording. Once you've done your second recording, you can go down here, hit your rewind button, and then hit your play button, and then you can hear your first recording and see how you sounded, and then you can listen to your second recording and see how you sounded, and then compare the two and see if you improved. All right, so just to recap, we now have our two recordings. We've listened to both of them to see how we've improved, and we are done with the octopus story. So now we need to close out all of our files. So in GarageBand, you're just going to go up here to the word GarageBand, and you're going to move your mouse down to Quit, Q-U-I-T. Give that a click, and if it asks you to save, yes, please do save. And remember, it's going to save that up in your server file. So that's going to quit. So now we have Read Naturally. We want to go down here to the blue Quit, Q-U-I-T. Give that a click. And we wait for it to shut down. And we want to click Exit. And there's one last task. Here is my server file. So what I need to do to disconnect from the server is I've got to drag this icon down to the trash can and see how that changes and the word disconnect pops up. Once I see that, I can let go of my mouse, and now I am disconnected from the server file. That's Read Naturally on GarageBand.